A lot of healing modalities have this idea that like we need more fun in our life. And I do agree with that. I do not agree with the idea that letting the inner child be free and have fun is actually the self-love that we're looking for. The self-love we're looking for is this one. It's that every moment of every day in every relational interaction, I choose you instead of them. And so the way that we develop self-love, I'll tell you, I was doing this for like 4 years before I knew what the self-love meant. Like all the books, all the things, everyone says this word, and I'd be in these groups, like there's these discussion groups, like 100 people, and 90 of them are like, what is self-love? How do I do it? And everyone's like, well, maybe take a bath, light some candles, take yourself on a date. There's that one. Like, what? Okay. This is my opinion of what self-love is. Self-love is recognizing that my inner child wants this. And if he's not going to get it from me, he's going to push that hijack button, put me to sleep, and he's going to go out and get it from some woman. So the way that I practice and exhibit and build and manifest self-love in my life is I have to give him this. I have to tell him every moment of every day in every way, you are the most important thing in my life, and I'm not going to prioritize anybody else over you. And when you start doing this, he'll be like, the f you say? You're full of shit. He won't believe you because most of us have spent multiple decades ignoring or abandoning him, right? And so just like a 5-year-old child, he's going to be like, I don't believe you. I don't trust you. So we got to earn it. Repeating the question is, if I'm going to express delight to my inner child, how do I do that in a way that doesn't turn me into a raging egotist, right?
Yes.
It's not an interesting question, right? That's a fantastic question.
To my inner child or to my partner?
To my inner child. Right. So here's my adult. I'm expressing loads of delight for my inner child. How do I do that without him becoming just a raging, self-absorbed? Here's how we do that. Express delight for my relationship with my inner child. Sure, it can be like, oh, you're so great, and blah, 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 blah. That's all empty. Where it matters is that I'm expressing delight when he does something uncomfortable. Oh, you're feeling really angry right now? Thank you for sharing that with me. You're feeling sad right now? Oh, we get to cry now? I know that crying is so good for us neurologically, like neurophysiologically, crying is amazing. Like literally, we have baked into us one of the biggest tools ever for processing trauma, and that's just crying. We don't need training. We don't need to go through a 10-step. I mean, just crying does so many amazing things inside the brain that are positive. Blew my mind when I learned that. We're going through this stuff, we're thinking about things, and boom, and it catches right here. For me, it's the solar plexus, and it's just like, ooh. I'm like, that could be a cry. In the past, it wouldn't have been because I would have shoved it down, but I'm like, ooh, it's happening. And I go to my inner child, and I'm like, thank you for trusting me in this moment to share what you're feeling. Let's go process this together. For me, that is expressed delight for the inner child. It is this complete and total thankfulness for everything he does, even when it appears to be antisocial at first. So say he wants to be violent. I'm gonna be like, thank you for sharing that with me. I'm so glad that that's out of the shadows and into the light now. Like, that's awesome. Like, this is so fantastic that you're sharing. And imagine you got a 5-year-old kid here who's like, really, I did a good thing? Woo, this is fun time, right? So it's just like, thank you for sharing that with me. All right. And it's like, I understand why you feel that way. And it's like, and it's so, you're helping me put all the pieces together now. Why I've always acted like this around that kind of person and blah, blah, blah. But then you say, okay, I get it. I see that you want to be violent. You want to go blow up a car or something. And it's like, but we know that because I can predict the future, We know that that's going to really hurt in the future. So we're not going to do it that way. But help me understand why you want to go do that thing. And listen and listen. Oh, okay. I promise you, because I'm going to make you the number one thing in my life, I promise you I will find a way to get that need met. We're just not going to do it that way. Right? Because you saw that in an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and that's not really real. And, you know, it's not going to work out the way you think and whatever, right? You know, so it's this playful interaction with this child that is expressing these emotions that kind of feel out of control. And when he does that, and I express delight at every stage of the game, it builds trust, and he starts to feel safe with me. So I've evoked a feeling of safety and trust with my inner child so that he begins to communicate with me more in bigger ways and in a broader scope about life. And guess what? When that happens, he starts trusting me to manage the situation, and he doesn't hit the hijack button so much, which means I get triggered less frequently and at less intensity. That's the building of the trust between adult and inner child that I was talking about earlier. It's like one of the ways you do that is to tune out the rest of the world, which is prioritizing the inner child and saying, this next 10 to 30 minutes, I'm going to be with you right now, and I'm going to invite you. You don't have to. I'm not going to pressure you, but I'm going to create this space so that you can share whatever in the world you're feeling. It can be angry, it can be hateful, it can be destructive. You can feel whatever you want, and I will hold this space and be with you through it, and I will not blame, I will not shame. You'll get nothing but support and love from me. And like I said, the first couple of times you do that, she's going to be like, I don't believe this, you're full of crap. But eventually you do it enough times and she'll be like, oh, you're real. You have earned my trust. And as you earn her trust, she'll begin to give you more. Just like a child that's testing you to say, are you really here for me? It's like, I'm going to give you a little bit more. I'm going to make it a little bit more challenging. I've got this whole ocean of grief and pain back here that I'm hiding from you. Are you ready for it? And it's like a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. I've actually seen this happen several times just in the past year. And it's like a little bit more, a little bit more. Oh, okay, I trust you now. And it's just like, open up the door, and the whole ocean of grief comes through.